And I'll call to order the February 20th meeting, Baldwin County Board of Education. It's 5:30. Glad to have everyone here. Thank you for joining us this evening. As we always do, if you don't mind, we'll start prayer and Tony Myrick will lead us. Thank you.
Lord, we thank you for this day. We just ask that you be with the ones that's in the way of the floods and that you'll protect them. Lord, we ask that you be with our children and our personnel. Just ask that you be with this great county. We ask you to give us the wisdom to make the decisions that would be right for this county. Give us where we fail you. We just ask that everything we do is praise and glory in your name.
Amen. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have any commendations? We've had those cleared, correct?
No, ma'am. We're good.
All right. We have any special recognitions that we want to do now or later?
No, ma'am. I don't think
right.
we have any right.
Okay, great. At this time, moving on to the next item is the approval of the minutes for January 16th board meeting.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion by Ms. Colley, a second by Mr. Christenberry. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right.
Mayor Kennan.
All right. Next item is a special invitation or request to address the board this evening, which is Mayor Tony Kennan, who wants to speak to us this evening on update on Orange Beach. Yes, sir, we are. Thank you.
Again, thank you all for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank Mr. Tyler for allowing me to be his guest. And I brought along with me Jerry Johnson, one of our council members, to speak for our council, if that's okay with you guys. We'll be brief. I want y'all to know how much we appreciate our school and how well it's going. The relationship with Mr. Tyler has been fantastic. Mr. Wilson, I can't say an ugly thing about anybody in administration that hadn't been over backwards to work with us. I know y'all don't know this, but I can be hard to get along with. And Frank should probably get nominated for sainthood because I've been very demanding on the school. But I want you to understand it's only demanding out of my concern and my care for my constituents and their children. There's no selfish intent. There's no agenda. It's about what's best for all of our kids. And our principals, second to none. We have great relationship. We've been sharing facilities, working with Mr. Moss right now to use the elementary school to help us take care of our summer after school K-3 program, which is fixing to be displaced by a new construction. He's been over backwards to help us make that happen. Why am I here? And I want this to, hopefully this is taken in the spirit in which it's intended. City of Orange Beach is financially blessed. We all know that. I mean, we are beyond blessed. And at any point in time we decided to form a city school system, we could do it without ever raising a dime of taxes and have one of the best school systems in the state. That is not our desire. We have no intention of ever leaving the county. There's been zero discussions with the mayor and the council about a city school system. There's never been a discussion between the mayor and the constituency about a city system. There's never been a discussion with the council and constituency for a city school system. We're loyal. My daddy said, boy, if you take a man's paycheck, you're going to be loyal or you go somewhere else. And my daddy was a pretty wise man for an 8th grade education. That's who we are. And I give you my word on that. It's just two things we ask because we see this as a partnership, but more than a partnership, we see it as a marriage because kids are involved. And y'all know what it takes to make a marriage work. We ask for communication, especially with anything that might be at the state level that you guys are supporting or moving forward that might affect us. We just would appreciate that so that there's no misconceptions or angst created because of lack of communication. And I'll give you one example. The bill that y'all supported or moved through to make sure that your cash, your asset that you paid for through your pay-as-you-go program was not taken in a city split after 3 years or 4 years. Made perfect sense. Support that 100%. Good business move. You care about your constituency. I supported that 100%. But by the same token, our negotiating a contract with the county to protect the asset, performing arts center, athletic complex, whatever it may be that we pay for, in case there is a split down the road, we get our money back, which is good business on our end and protecting our constituency. That's all it is. There's nothing nefarious whatsoever about our wanting to do good business and protect our dollars, just like I expect y'all to do the same. Second thing is meaningful input. Meaningful input. I know my place. We know our place. We do not step over that line with our teachers and principals. I don't tell them how to teach. I don't tell our principals how to run their school. I don't get into hiring and firing. I don't want to know. But I do know about everybody that's disciplined because Mom and Dad called me about Susie and Johnny because they didn't do anything. You know that. So, but I don't get into that. It's none of my business, nor is that my purview, and the council is taking the same position. Hopefully our principal will let you know that is a fact. Where we do see our place is in the environment in which our kids exist for 8 hours a day. We just want to have input in how do we make that environment a wonderful learning experience, an efficient and effective classroom. How do we make it a place that's extremely safe like our elementary school is, having won those awards so many years? And how do we make it a place that is a joy for our teachers to come to and spend the day? Because we know how hard it is on teachers. That's our goal. That's where we see our fitting in. And there will be requests coming in the future for things that we feel like would help us accomplish that. You know, what are we doing? I don't know how many of y'all know about you got a call, Tony? You know, we think it's important that we raise our kids from a very early age to understand discipline, work ethic, courtesy, and respect. That doesn't cost a dime. And we're teaching that and preaching that in our after-school programming with Expect Excellence. And I wish anytime you guys would like to come down and spend the afternoon with us, I think you'd be intrigued by what we're doing, because it's not daycare and it's not babysitting. And we expect we're actually doing a parent reprogramming program too, is what it amounts to. Because the parents have got to do their part. They got to buy in, and so if those kids don't come to participate, to learn, and to grow, then they can't come. This is serious business. We want our 7th and 8th graders to have already been taught how to behave, how to be gentlemen and ladies, courtesy and respectful when they get to the 7th and 8th grade, so our teachers don't have to deal with the issues that a lot of schools deal with. So we're trying very hard from an early age to create an environment and create students that you guys and your staff will have it would just be a joy to come and to work with, and parents that are completely and totally supportive, not combative, not adversarial, or not, it's always somebody else's fault. So we're really trying to do our part in our marriage partnership with you guys. So there's one other thing too. With our kids, we're doing everything we can through our programming to find their passion at a very early age. That's why our program is set up into academics, arts, and athletics. Because what I've learned, and I've been involved in sports medicine for 30 years at every school you can imagine, when you find a kid's passion early in life, the odds are you're not going to have to go looking for them later in life. So we're working very hard to create and find those passions for our kids, no matter what that might be. So that's all I really have. I just wanted to assure y'all that we are a partner, a loyal partner. We're committed. We're invested. We ain't going nowhere. And anything that we come to y'all, even if I'm red-faced, it's only because we care about our children as much as y'all do. So if it's okay, I'd like to let Jerry say a few words on behalf of our council. Okay.
All right.
Thanks.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Keenan.
Good evening. I just want to say thank y'all for letting us come and just talk to you. We appreciate the time. You know, in Orange Beach, our residents all have opinions like there are in a lot of other cities, But in Orange Beach, they tend to vocalize those opinions, especially when it comes to bridges, condominiums, zoning, golf carts, Canal Road. But there are two things that nobody complains about. Not a single person that I hear. They're all proud. They're all excited because we have schools in Orange Beach. Well, you ought to be thankful. We want to say thank you for that. The number two thing that there's not any issues with is that we are part of the Baldwin County Schools. So I assure you from the council side of it, we are unanimous with the mayor and that we are proud to be a part of the Baldwin County school system. And that's the way we always plan for it to be. It's a partnership. I really like partnerships. In this case, it's a public-public partnership. I like public-private partnerships too. But the example is great because we've been a partner with y'all with the Orange Beach Elementary School with the security. That school has won the Attorney General's Award 6 out of the last 7 years. And we think the 7th one, they just lost the application. But we intended for that school to be safe. We did not want anything to happen like we had seen happen in others. We'll do the same thing when it comes to the middle school and the high school. That is our desire to keep our students safe and for a safe learning environment. You've done your part too by helping and providing the school resource officers. So it's partnerships good. They leverage the resources to where we are better off in the end. In this case, the students are better, the principals, the staff, the teachers, everything's better because we're partnering together. And so I want to say thank you, and on behalf of the council, we want to say thank you. Tony was right. City Orange Beach is blessed, but we want to use those blessings to teach and train our kids how to be responsible adults when they leave the Orange Beach school system. No matter where they go. They go to the community college, they go to the military, they go to 4-year college, they go to a craft, whichever, you can do very well in all of those. But we want people to say, wow, where did they come from? They came from the Orange Beach in the Baldwin County school system. So I like Tony, I just like to say, we're going to always come up with ideas. But we realize that we are an anomaly to a certain extent. That's why we've reached out to Somerdale and to Alberta. And they are partners with us. We've given them fire trucks, we have given them Christmas decorations, we've given them a lot of things. And that's what we would rather do that than put it on a bid list to be sold somewhere. Mayor Wilson and Mayor Hamby are two great friends. And so we enjoy that partnership too. And that's going to go very well, especially with the schools. So thank y'all though, because we couldn't do nothing without the support of the board, the staff. John, you're a great resource also, and we appreciate you. But we appreciate everyone because all of us together, we're going to make a great system. So we're with you, I assure you. And I just thank you for the time, and we appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Johnson.
One little comment I want to make, and Mr. Johnson used the word anomaly. In all my years as assistant superintendent in the system, as a superintendent, the thing I think that is odd is that Orange Beach is coming up with ways that they want to help or service their schools. Of course, they've got schools now. But if any of y'all have been in our county for a length of time, never, Frank's been in construction, have we dealt with a city that's willing to pony up a lot of money because they'd like to see certain things happen. And so sometimes that's odd, that's hard to try to, adjust, catch your breath and adjust. Just like reaching out on your after-school care. Me and you had a conversation, Mayor, and when it was brought to my attention, it was like, really? But those are things that have never been done. So naturally, as a school system, when cities all of a sudden just get things from the county and they go about their business, I mean, they're appreciative. They're not raising the bar to any degree, in a sense, like you're doing financially. And so sometimes it seems like they're being difficult, or either we're being difficult. We're just trying to figure it out, because it's a pleasant thing to figure out. And I know with like Frank, and thank you, Mayor. Frank will be knighted in sainthood probably, because he's, Frank is he's really only 20 years old, but he looks 50. So that's what's been going on with Frank. So, but what y'all ask of the school system are things that just aren't asked in the history of Baldwin County schools. When I was assistant super, just wasn't asked. So sometimes you're trying to scratch your head and go, okay, if we have some difficulty in bridging the gap, is there some pushback? Is there going to be a split? People come up with everything, but, and I hear it all, just like you do, Mayor, Jerry. I'm comfortable with our partnership. When we got back, Mayor, and I had my first meeting with you, you looked at Jerry, and we were in the elementary school. We were talking. I think one of your parents was there. John might, I don't know who was there, but you looked at Jerry and said, "Can we trust him?" And Jerry said, "I think we can trust him." And I think that trust is held up. Do we falter in communication sometimes? We do. We're not perfect, and and I'll apologize if we do, and I know you do the same thing. So, but I just want my board to know and our staff to know that this is just, it's an anomaly. It's not a common occurrence from cities reaching out and saying, "Look, we want to pony up $10 million because we'd like to have it," but then they want to have it their way. And that gets a little difficult. So I appreciate the partnership. I know our board does, and I know our staff does. So thank you all for coming and verbalizing that, and just being a great partner, and wanting to continue to be a part of the Baldwin County Public School System. Board, I don't know if y'all have any comments you'd like to make, or to the mayor and Jerry.
Well, I think partnerships are important. We like partnerships. We'll take the help. We'll take the partnership if what we're all doing, together is to make it better for children. That's what we're here for.
And they're correct. They're not trying to change what we do as a system. They're just trying to, sometimes it looks like a round peg in a square hole, or vice versa, and sometimes just trying to figure it out and make it fit. So they're all about education, all about children, and I appreciate that. So thank you.
And I would just like to add that I appreciate your willingness to be involved, because not every city and not every mayor and council feel that way. And it's, in the 7 years I've been on this board, I can, I remember every time you have come and spoken and about various things. And I can tell you that mayors don't do that. I know my mayor has not come and spoken in front of a board to ask for things and want to partner and things like that. I appreciate that. I appreciate the partnership and wanting to be involved in the lives and the education of the students in your city. And even outside of your city.
Go Makos.
Thank y'all, really,
Thank
for
you.
your time.
Thank you very much.
You can
Please
stay
be
if you
careful
want.
going home.
Yeah, okay. Be careful. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, let's see. We do have some delegations that have signed in, so let me just quickly remind everyone that the comments are limited to 3 minutes. We remind you, please, also that we don't call anyone by name, and if we have a lot of the comments that are all in the same vein in the particular area that go on and on, please remember that in the essence of thinking about time, we can move along at my discretion if I feel like we're just getting redundant and we're not really getting any new information. But having said that, first one I have signed, Mrs. Fagan, I believe. I'm sorry, is it Dr. Fagan? I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Thank you.
And Louise again is our timekeeper
That's fine.
and has her cards.
Great.
All right.
Thank you all again. Good evening. I'm Dr. Karen Fagan. I'm a parent of 2 pre-IB students at Daphne High School, but I live and vote in the Spanish Fort feeder pattern. I was here last month and addressed this board and our superintendent and other members of our staff about the concerns I have about the schedule change proposed for all high schools in Baldwin County to take half of our high schools that are currently on blocks and put them onto a period schedule. Because of the schedule change, I wanted to highlight what that means to my family. My daughters are here. Because of this schedule change, my daughters will forego their usual summer volunteering and other activities in order to take classes, so that during the next school year, they will have the opportunity to have electives. Because my daughter Marin, who will speak in a moment, will need to do this so that she can be the senior editor of the Daphne High School yearbook as a sophomore. She has been recognized and has represented Baldwin County for her excellence in journalism as a freshman, attending national and state conferences and winning awards. She's going to take summer classes so that she can do what she wants to do with an elective next year that would not be possible otherwise. My daughter Julia is here. Julia is going to be taking a summer class because she wants to take an elective in economics, but she cannot do that and play on the Daphne softball team. So we've talked a lot about that these are examples of how this new schedule can work and that our students are resilient and they'll find ways to do this. But it also highlights the fact that the robustness of their entire high school experience is going to be shrunk, because they're going to have fewer opportunities to participate in other electives like agriculture, something really fun at Daphne that's not everywhere else, things like that. They're not going to have those opportunities. I also shared my concern about the process leading to this decision not being transparent, and I discussed some of those concerns. What I and others wanted to understand was why schools like Daphne that are thriving are having to consider or having to make this switch. We've talked a lot about transparency and comments such as, I don't have to seek stakeholder engagement amongst the students, the educators, the parents, and even our own board members. And I was told that the process was going to be transparent. But since that meeting, there has been no official communication from Baldwin County Board of Education or the superintendent's office to parents, students, or other community members regarding the schedule change, nor the sharing of any of the data that apparently was so compelling that led to this proposed change. I have combed the website. I've combed the Facebook pages. I've combed the Facebook pages of every high school. I have looked to find information, and it is simply just not there. What is available is those statements that have been made in support of the block schedule when people have worked in other school systems or even on the task force here. I'm disturbed that there's this lack of information coming out. I realize my time is up, but I'm going to finish. I'm disturbed about the lack of information that's coming out. I'm disturbed that my principal and other principals are refusing to answer any more questions about this, are sending emails to parents who are sending them questions about this with the statement, I will not address this any further. I'm disturbed that the board meeting video from last month will never be posted. Was told several different reasons when I called multiple times. That didn't happen. So I'm concerned
Fagan,
about the
if I will,
transparency.
please.
We're fine.
We need to
That's fine.
move on, and
I'm just asking to please provide the data so that we can partner in making this successful. We don't have the data to be able to say this is what is right for our students and to be able to support this decision.
Thank you.
Please share that
Thank
with
you.
us.
Marin,
The parents, Dr. Fagan, aren't the ones who determine what's right for their students when it comes to being in the Baldwin County Public School System. The board and the staff and those who have spent their life in education make determination of which direction and how we need to educate our children. So information will be coming on the web and to our schools about the 7-period schedule. But, you know, after the board meeting last month, we weren't going to turn right around and all of a sudden put something out on our website. Renee Carter, our dean, is already working on that. We had meetings with counselors last week. We're going to meet with our people to get them up to speed. I met with all the counselors, and I said professionally and nicely, this really is not up for discussion anymore. And when a parent calls, be polite, be nice, answer any questions you can. But at the end, just you need to say your son or daughter needs to prepare for the 7-period day next year. So this is not, again, I'm going to use the word anomaly. It's not a freak thing. Schools all over the state do 7 and 8 periods in block schedules. So my statement, and it'll be again, is we appreciate the thoughts of everybody else, but we have to make decisions, and every decision that I make or we make does not have to be vetted to the communities. We make it based on our experience, our subject matter experts, and we move forward. So I do appreciate you sharing. Thank you.
Maureen Fagan?
I'd like to start off by saying thank you so much for allowing us to come and speak again. I really appreciate it. So I'm a pre-IB student at Daphne High School. I am currently the assistant editor of the yearbook, but next year will be the editor. I'm also involved with 5 clubs, 6 next week. And then I would just like to say that we have had a lot of student, faculty, and parent support from this, as we gave Mr. Tyler the petition that had almost 900 signatures.
Thank you.
And I would just like to say thank you again for listening to us, because most of what I had was something that my mother already said. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Maureen.
Thank you very much.
J.B. Ballou? Did I pronounce your name correctly, Mr. Ballou? Okay.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for allowing us to speak again. So, on January 16th, I and 7 other students addressed this board and the superintendent with facts that we believed backed up our reasons that the period system will not work at Daphne and Spanish Fort high schools, since which the media and the public have aroused suspicions around this issue, such as that, quote, we are drama-shredding teenagers outside of our comfort zones. Now today, on February 20th, we have stood before you once again with facts. So now, Mr. Superintendent and the board, I ask you to please consider the following information, all of which I will be happy to provide, that has been compiled for you by myself and several other students. In the public presentation presented by Baldwin County Public Schools Blocks Task Force in 2005, research done by StatCom was conducted and approved by an 81% favor in teachers. The change positively impacted every school, and it was recommended by the task force to remain on blocks in the future. According to a teacher survey done in conjunction with the research study, most teachers use the extra time given in a block with engaging, beneficial activities while noticing very few disciplinary issues. Mr. Tyler was also a strong advocate of the block schedule while serving as a superintendent of Eufaula City Schools. Additionally, according to Mrs. Beverly Spondike, the current principal at Saraland High School, Saraland has recently transitioned to a block schedule, and her research backs up everything that these students have said, including that students are more engaged, have more class time for science labs and other activities, have less homework at a time, and that teachers see fewer students at a time, which increases their productivity. Finally, please be aware that we are not comparing the success of each program, as that is to be done by the more learned authorities. However, we are comparing the opportunities available in each program and the uniqueness that contributes to every school's success. So I asked the board to consider the information presented, and I also asked the superintendent to revisit his operational decision so that this is the best decision possible. I urge you to make the best decision for your administrators, the best decision for your teachers. I urge you to make the best decision for your students, and I urge you to make the best decision for our futures. Good night.
Thank you.
The 2 things there. Yes, I was on the task force in 2005. I'll freely admit that. I was asked to be on the task force. We look at stuff. This is 2020. Also in Eufaula, I did not mandate a block schedule. That was brought to me by our administration and our schools. I bring it to the board. I told them I would support them if they wanted to address the board in period to block or block to period. So I just want to make sure that when we talk about what I've done, that we properly, either quote me or represent me in the manner that needs to be represented. But the other thing is to make the right decisions for our students. So sometimes I get a little bit concerned that as lifelong educators, it is perceived by parents that we're not making the right decisions for students. But I'll assure you, and I appreciate the way y'all spoke. There again, you represent your schools well. I couldn't speak like that at your age. But, you know, we make decisions in the best interest of students and teachers. So I do appreciate you again coming and sharing.
Thank you. Moving along, there is no one else signed up.
Janae, can I say something first
Yes,
before you move
of course.
on?
I'm sorry. Sure.
Since they're my babies.
Okay.
I again, you know, as Superintendent Tyler said, I appreciate it. I appreciate everything y'all have researched. I appreciate everything you've done. I would like to ask you to consider one thing, though, because I've been thinking about this, and I've been up at night and just thinking about you guys. And I want you to think about this, because you are the cream of the crop. You are the smartest ones we have. Think about the ones that don't have your intelligence, that you go to school with. Just hear me out a minute. Okay, with when we go to the period schedule, okay, a lot of those kids, their attention span can't be gained and kept like yours can. And for them, this might be a win-win for them. I just want you to consider that too, because I know you're probably going to walk out of here and go like, we still need to have a block. But I do want you to consider that we have to think about the whole student body. And you guys, because you're so smart and you're able to go to school in the summer and do all those things and still maintain what you've got, even though it's going to cost you extra work, those other students aren't going to have that. They need probably shorter periods just to be able to excel. So although I know that's not really what you want, I want you to consider it and think about that too. Think about all the other students that don't have your intelligence and have your drive, because we need to get them engaged too. And with longer periods, it's hard to get them engaged. But I do want you to consider that too, okay? And thank you again. You're great guys. I appreciate you more than you know.
All right. Amendments to the agenda?
Yes, ma'am. Amend number 1, bids proposals. Amend number 4, pay-as-you-go phase 4, $50 million financing agreement. Amend number 5, Baldwin County Economic Development Alliance Economic and Workforce Development Strategic Program Agreement. Amend number 9, leave of absence of personnel. Amend number 10, retirement and resignations of personnel. Amend number 12, transfer intent to transfer of personnel. Amend number 13, employment of personnel. Add number 15, approval of employment contract, chief school financial officer. Add number 16, administrative appointment. Delete number 6, naming of Baldwin County High School indoor athletic training facility.
Sorry, add number 16. I missed it.
Yeah. Add number 16, administrative appointment.
Thank you.
Delete number 6, naming of Baldwin County High School
All right.
indoor athletic training facility.
All right, thank you. Do I hear a motion to amend?
Second.
Motion to amend by Ms. Leach, second by Ms. Colley. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries.
Agenda item 1, bids proposals. Superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the low bidders, meeting specifications for the bids and bid extensions for goods and services for the system as amended and stipulated in the agenda exhibit.
Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Motion by
Second.
Ms. Colley, second by Ms. Lindsay. Any discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries.
I need to,
Oh, okay.
before we move off that, I need to abstain on that vote.
Okay,
So just remove, it would have been, no one objected, right?
No.
right,
So
just
it'd be 6-0, and I abstain.
5.
record
Five.
show.
5-0.
5-0, yeah. And the
Yeah,
record can
5-0.
show that he abstains. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Agenda item 2, owner architect and owner engineer proposals. The superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the contract with H.M. Young and Associates for engineering services for various projects as stipulated in the agenda exhibit.
So move.
Motion by Mr. Christenberry,
Second.
second by Ms. Lynch. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Agenda item 3, change order to Alberta High School addition. Superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the change order increase for the new Alberta High School additions in the amount of $177,911 for a new total project cost of $9,246,911 as stipulated in the agenda exhibit.
Motion by Ms. Lynch,
Second.
second by Ms. Lindsay. Any questions or discussion?
Or aren't they figuring on putting the new stadium out on that property that was donated to them?
There's been talk of that, but I mean, that's gonna be very, very expensive, but for the time being, what we decided to do was just add the bleachers on the north end of the existing campus, and it could always be utilized for middle school after that.
Yeah, well, I knew that would eventually be what it would be for, but I didn't know if there was any plan to maybe shift this money and just go ahead and do the stadium. I know, I mean, I don't know what it would cost them, you know, to do it out there.
You're looking at several $1 million to do a stadium. Last
You
time I
talked to
checked,
Mayor
it was-
Hamby lately?
Yeah, I was gonna say. Anybody talk to Jim Hamby about that?
In my last conversation with him, I didn't have that later on.
What we've talked to John Wilson and Frank and the contractors and stuff, their schedule, there'll be a full 4 grades next year, 9, 12. Their schedule, their classification is I think has changed a little bit. They'll be playing Jacksons and the Vigors and all those.
They're gonna be 5A.
Yeah, I believe, and so we're trying to develop something on their campus that can house bigger crowds, and this was
It's
probably
not everybody's on one side,
right.
and that's not ideal.
We're gonna
That needs to-
separate.
That would not be
Yeah.
good.
And we have to take our folding chairs.
Also, the city is building, baseball and softball facilities on Sealy. They have some property on that, going towards the William Way. So the city is kind of going that way to build the baseball and softball instead of doing it.
And I think they had a grant, was what they're able to do.
They did.
And two, before we do a stadium, if we ever do build on that property a high school, the high school, in my opinion, needs to go there first, and then we can work around that, because there may be
Yeah.
several things in one low area.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, there is a low area, big time.
Yeah. That's just like when the board built Daphne, we opened in '89. The only facility there was metal bleachers on home and visitor with a sprigged field with 2 goalposts. That was it. So everything else was developed by parents and booster clubs and the city's involvement. So
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
agenda item 4, pay-as-you-go phase 4, $50 million financing agreement. Superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the financing agreement authorizing the issuance and provisions for payment of the $50 million maximum principal financed over a 4-year period with Regions Capital Advantage, Inc., as amended and stipulated in the agenda exhibit.
So moved.
Have a motion by Ms. Colley,
Second.
second by Mr. Christenberry. Any questions, any discussion?
Tuesday night, we were talking about doing away with the grocery tax. What is that gonna cost us? Estimation, I know, you know,
Again, a bill hasn't been filed yet. Really, and the talk has been taking away the sales tax on the statewide level, which is 4%. So really, the devil will be in the detail, and if the bill is filed, what the language would be, and if there are any local implications that could impact us and the local sales tax that we collect due to a statewide repeal of the grocery tax. And, our biggest concern is that, yes, it definitely is a regressive tax and that kind of stuff, but you have to make sure you have the revenue to backfill it if you are going to repeal it. So it's hard to say because a bill hasn't officially been filed yet, but it's something I'm keeping a very, very close eye on. And it would be if a statewide bill passed that had potential local implications to us, that would have a very, very material financial impact to us going forward.
Talking to someone with the county, I felt like it was gonna be quite large.
Yeah, I talked to the county commission, and again, it's hard to quantify with Walmart's how much is groceries and how much is other things. But with our right there under 2.5% sales tax that we currently collect, if we were to remove the grocery aspect from that, we're looking at anywhere from a $25 to $30 million cut per year. It brings a substantial amount in what we collect locally. Also at the statewide level, the sales tax goes directly into the Education Trust Fund that funds schools throughout the state.
Right.
And so it could be a double whammy that could absolutely have devastating impacts to Baldwin County, and that's why I'm watching it very, very closely. And if there's
What bothered me was they were talking about tax, but they had nothing to replace it.
Right.
Well, they were talking about backfill being from the Education Trust Fund.
Trust fund.
Yeah, they're
Right.
going to take it from the, from,
They're gonna take it out of there.
and that was one of the things too, is, Baldwin County is tourism heavy.
Right.
A lot of these people come from out of town and stay at these condos and then go to the biggest Publix right there in Orange Beach. Exactly.
Our
So,
local people.
so they're really, the state is cutting their nose to spite their face when they're cutting the grocery tax, because that's a lot of tourism dollars that they're banking on.
That doesn't make any sense. I mean, they always wanted money from the
Education.
Right.
That was even one of the
With
suggestions
never-
with the Bay Bridge.
And never
Right.
a discussion on how to replace it. Right.
I knew it was.
Well, the only discussion is taking a little bit off the top each year so we don't notice it. That's their discussion. Oh, I know.
Trust me, we'll notice it.
Well, no.
Agenda item 5.
We
I
have
think we have to vote on
We
that.
haven't voted yet. Is that all the discussion? All those in favor, aye? Say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Agenda item 5, Baldwin County Economic Development Alliance Economic and Workforce Development Strategic Program Agreement. Superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the Economic and Workforce Development Strategic Program Agreement with the Baldwin County Economic Development Alliance as amended and stipulated in the agenda exhibit.
So move.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Mr. Christenberry and Ms. Lynch, any questions or discussion?
The more I think about this, I think the more excited I get about it, because this is going to be such an incredible opportunity for our students who want to go into the workforce after high school. And this is just going to be, just like our virtual school, I think people from across the state are going to look at this model.
Set up
And
and take notes.
Plus, we talk about partnerships and how important they are, whether it's cities or whatever. To me, this is a partnership on steroids for every person, child in our county. I'm excited.
And we want it to go so well, businesses are
Lined up.
Right.
Yeah.
to do
I
it.
guess I'm the black sheep in the family, but I don't see it that way with this particular item. He said that he was gonna write the grants and looking for a grant writer. Well, then the material they gave us, they would work with us in preparing the grants, working on the grants. But that sounded like we gonna be doing the grants. It did not say
Well,
they
I
were
think-
doing them.
We have input about what the grant would stipulate and how it should be,
Yeah.
how it would service
How it
us.
would
Yeah,
serve.
we wouldn't really be writing them.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always felt like what made this county what it is was the people willing to do stuff and donate it. We didn't have to pay, but it's gotten to where if we do have anyone to partner with us, it costs us. It costs us a contract. It costs us money. That isn't how we got here, but I just guess it's the sign of the times.
Welcome to the new world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't
Here we
consider
are.
you a black sheep. It's good to have a devil's advocate that looks at things like that. But I think that's important for a board to be that way.
Well, what I told the senior staff after y'all's work session Tuesday night which was a fantastic work session, great discussion. I actually felt like that we had broken down a barrier. It had been there. Y'all kept wondering about what this is going to look like. We did too. Lee comes in. He has a presence. We know he can command big business, and they're excited about this. I just felt like it was another barrier that we were able to break down as we move forward in this. And we're going to open this thing in the summer of '23, come hook or crook, if the board continues to support where we're going. So.
We hope so. How exciting that would be. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Agenda item,
Go ahead, motion carries.
agenda item 7, renaming of Fairhope K-6 schools. Superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the renaming of the 2 Fairhope K-6 schools as stipulated in the agenda exhibit.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Christenberry, a second by Ms. Lindsay.
And
Any
it's not
questions or
Cecil
discussion?
Christenberry Elementary.
No,
No, it's not Cecil.
You good with it, Cecil?
I'm perfect with it.
Perfect with that.
That's what you brought, wasn't it?
It was suggested to me by those that know what they're doing.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion
For
carries.
any of the audience, the Fairhope Intermediate will be a K-6, and the Fairhope Elementary will be a K-6. So it's going to be Fairhope Elementary East, Fairhope Elementary West. So everything was good.
That way we don't have to worry about anybody's name.
Thank you very much on behalf of the, thank you.
No AEDs on Cecil on this one, so he's good. Agenda item 8, approval of career technical policies. The superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the career technical policies as stipulated in the agenda exhibit.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Colley,
Second.
second by Ms. Lindsay. All those, any discussion?
Yes, when I went straight
Careful.
to the liability part to see what was gonna be done, and when you're working with kids, they have a tendency to make some mistakes, and said you're gonna sign a waiver. I've been involved in that, been involved in a lawsuit when we signed a waiver, and it wasn't what the paper was written on, and I didn't like the way it's done, and I can't support it the way the liability is written.
Homer,
So if there's any way to write it, that would make it right, but
Homer, you have any comments on any of that? Or?
I mean, that's a slippery slope that, and it all falls back on the board. You know, and you can have them sign all day long, but that's covered. Nope.
Well, nothing's going to stop a suit.
And I wasn't
Do we want
even
Scotty to
involved,
comment?
Yeah, but nothing.
but I'm just saying, when I saw it, I was like, man.
Scotty to comment.
If Scotty, you have
Do
any
you want to
comment?
comment?
We haven't, this wasn't submitted to us for review,
Oh.
and we'll look at it, to see if there's any way to tighten it up. I mean, the reality of the way waivers work, it is what it is. I mean, we as a public body probably don't want to comment on the effectiveness or not of them,
Right.
but I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Well, if you would
So we
like to review this, we can table this if however we can do that, Scotty, for you to look at.
Whatever you guys want.
I
Should
don't
we
think-
maybe, can we disseminate it for 30 days and
Has
get
it been
feedback? I mean, how do we,
It's not a new policy.
Is
Is there a deadline?
there any way though that
Well, here's,
no other that might could be?
okay, as a practical matter, we operate under policies and procedures, and some of these matters can be taken up under the guise of the procedural implementation of a program under the superintendent's guidance. So I mean, we always have the ability to do that. So I mean, if the board's inclined to adopt it, that doesn't prohibit us from a procedural standpoint of coming
Standpoint.
back and revisiting if there's way to create greater protection for the
do that.
board.
that's, yeah.
All right,
Okay.
We can do that.
okay. All right. If we vote on it
And then we can
tonight
come back,
and
Scotty,
go
and we
back
can
and just look at it from the
look at the
procedure
procedural.
Scotty, be
standpoint,
looking
if
at
there
it.
could be a change, then that allows us to move forward.
Okay.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Okay.
We're going to
Agenda item 9, leave of absence of personnel. The superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the leave of absence of personnel as amended and provided to board members under separate cover.
So moved.
I have a motion and, from Ms. Colley, a second from Ms. Lynch. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
I would, just a comment,
Carefully.
I was talking to Darlene down on the area where Starla works and everything, on leave of absence and everything. And we were just talking, there's just an unusual high number of medical leave of absence.
Yeah.
And I hope these people are okay and getting it there. But it's as many as I've ever seen as far as
I thought
medical
it
leave
was a
of
lot.
absence. And I hope that everything's okay with those individuals. So, okay, have you done that?
I do. We're ready to move forward. Number 10.
Agenda item 10, retirement and resignation of personnel. Superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the retirement and resignation of personnel as amended and provided to board members under separate cover.
Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Motion from
Ms. Lindsay.
Miss Lindsay.
That
I'm
woman down
sorry.
there.
Her at the end of the table. I am so sorry.
No,
And a
that's
second
okay.
from Miss Lynch. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries.
Agenda item 11, suspension of personnel unpaid. Superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the unpaid suspension of personnel as provided to board members under separate cover.
So moved.
Motion from Ms. Colley,
Second.
second from Mr. Christenberry. Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion
Agenda-
carries, sorry.
Agenda item 12, transfer intent to transfer of personnel. Superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the transfer intent to transfer of personnel as amended and provided to board members under separate cover.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Lynch, second by Ms. Lindsay. Any questions, discussion?
I'm not going to make an issue, but after the meeting is over, I'd like a little bit of information on number 10 on the amendment.
Okay. All right.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Agenda item 13, employment of personnel. The superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the employment of personnel as amended and provided to board members under separate cover.
Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Motion from Ms. Colley,
Second.
second from Mr. Myrick. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Agenda item 14, extra work for extended periods. Superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the extra work of personnel as provided to board members under separate cover.
So moved.
Motion from Ms. Colley,
Second.
second from Ms. Lindsay. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Agenda item 15, approval of employment contract, Chief School Financial Officer. Superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to authorize the board president to enter into the employment contract for Chief School Financial Officer with John Wilson as provided to board members under separate cover.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Multitude of
Third,
seconds.
fourth, and
Motion
fifth.
from Ms. Colley, second by Ms. Lynch. Any questions?
Why did we do 40 months?
In order to
Scotty can answer that
get
if
the
you wanted to.
end,
What that is because it's an odd time of the year, and we did this with the superintendent's contract, it's an effort to line it up with the July 1, June 30.
what I want.
Yeah, that's what I figured, but I mean, nothing personal here, but I would support it if we did 8% straight across the board for everyone, teachers, sport personnel and the whole, but I know you couldn't do that. But,
I'm sorry, this contract's not 140 months. I know we couldn't do that, but I would vote for
We
that.
could.
Yeah.
Maybe the ability to raise it later, before the 140th month.
Just my,
I think you do a good job.
yeah,
Amen.
just my comments from when you get into areas of John or myself. Yes, teachers and classified, they're in the trenches, they work hard, their boots on the ground. But he has a skill set that keeps this county afloat that teachers don't have and support personnel don't have. There's 138 of him, or well, there's more than him than that around the state, but there's just certain skill sets that sometimes comes with people in positions that are high on the the chain. That's just the way it is, and
I understand that, you know, we could talk about, you know, CPAs, but CPAs are in firms, they have many clients, and they don't have the secretary that we have up here. I mean, there's a lot of advantages to be And I'm not putting that down. I mean,
Oh,
John
sure.
does a great job, but nobody has a more important job than that teacher that's forming that life for that child. I mean, they're all important.
Right.
The ones are not any more important than the other, but I'm just saying. I mean, I don't want to make an issue out of it. I'm proud for you, John. I'm just not going to support it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
All right, and the motion carries.
Agenda item 16, administrative appointment. Superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the administrative appointment as provided to board members under separate cover.
Definitely second. She's wonderful.
Motion by, who are you, Miss Lynch, and second by Miss.
Lord have mercy.
I know, we're gonna have to start wearing our name tags.
Yeah, would y'all please just put it across your forehead? Second by Miss Lindsay. All in favor, any questions? I wouldn't.
I want to say, every time you call a principal to us and I go through and read, I'm impressed. So I want to thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
I
Lynch.
looked at her references and her letters and I thought, I want to go to the school.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
So thank you for sharing that information with us so we could do those appointments.
Well, there was emails to me from teachers, support staff, board members, that parents that really said, I don't know if you're aware of this assistant principal, which I am, how friendly they are, how much they help, how benefit they are. But our newest principal in our system, which will land at Daphne Elementary School tomorrow, is Benita Battle. She's an assistant principal at W.J. Carroll, and we're very excited about this appointment, and she's excited too. I called her yesterday, and I couldn't even ask her if she was still interested because she saw my name pop up on her phone. She ducked into a room, and she was crying so hard. I said, I tried to tell her what I was calling to say if you're still interested, but I couldn't hear what she was saying because she was crying so much. So anyway, you like to see the passion, but thank you. Boy,
I sure hope we vote for her.
I know.
Now that we've said all these wonderful accolades, you suppose we ought to vote on the lady. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries. Thank you.
That's all I have, Ms. Dawson.
All right. Before we close,
We do have staff reports if you want that.
Yes.
Make any comments on staff reports.
we'd like to hear.
You want staff reports first, and then.
I know. Are the staff reports going to be quick?
Well, wait a minute now. You want them, but now you want them.
Hold on, is it Homer or Anthony that has the record?
We need to hear.
It's Anthony that has the record?
Anthony's got the.
I'm going to, I thought, and Cecil told me I wasn't completely crazy. I thought staff reports were going to kind of come up in a work session, not here. So you can have
In the future, we'll do it at a work session,
we
Ms.
can have them
Lindsay. Ms.
wherever,
Lindsay.
because I know this is a night when we're all
Yeah,
like this.
we'll do that, but let me finish these, and then we'll do them in a work session. Renee, anything to report?
I do want to report just a couple of things. One thing is ACT.
Less than 3 minutes?
Yes, ACT will be administered March 10th.
Do we get
Yes,
cards
we're
up?
working hard to get our students ready. We looked at
Yes.
some data today, we've seen some growth, and that data will be from practice tests, so we're excited about that. Second thing is, last week, our team with principals worked on a frequently asked questions about moving to 7 periods for parents. Principals have that on their desk, they're reviewing and adding to that. We're going to share that with senior staff and the communications department, and that will be coming out soon for parents in the community.
Okay, thank you.
John? Tiffany?
I'll give you more information next month, but we are working on an exclusive award for the Baldwin County Award that we will recognize employees monthly, so we'll have some more details.
That's exciting. That's exciting.
Frank?
Sure is.
All the other projects are on schedule. One thing we found out is Fairhope and Nitrate Academy has been at the state for review for over 30 days, just over 30 days. One thing, part of you can't see is the mechanical review engineer who retired, so now the state is outsourcing to the
Oh.
They're thorough, but they're taking a lot longer. And they said that the architects inquired about what was going on. They said there were backlogs at this time because of a lot of projects, but I think that's the big issue. So we'll work through there, and then I'll kind of tell you if the other ones maybe taking along with the future, which is the state.
Well, it's
We
landing.
might
It's
need to
landing in
move
good
those
hands,
over to
so
Auburn.
Roll Tide. So,
I heard they concerned about sewage spill.
Homer,
EdTech has no report.
Chaz.
Academy Open House is next week, and I sent y'all an invitation for that. We've got the big ACT promotion coming out where we'll have emails, texts, and phone calls going out to promote that to our 11th graders. And we're working, of course, on promoting things a month or a month and a half in advance, 2 months in advance. So we're working on Teacher of the Year stuff now.
So that's Fairhope Aviation Academy open house. Yes, okay. Anthony? Marty? You and Hope might have discussed that among yourselves while we were carrying business on here, but anyway. Hope?
I'm taking their minutes. Okay, Institute, we registered Brad Cohen. Him at the board.
Yay.
He will be our speaker because his topic is related to special education, and that piggybacks also into the conference we did this fall. We'll be able to pay for it with Title II funds.
She charges.
Yay.
She charges.
He's another one of those people you have to pay these days.
Yeah.
Shelby Brown will be doing some entertaining for us.
Oh, wonderful.
The biggest news was that I spoke to Charlie Ebert last week at the Rotary Club, and Charlie told me that the Foley City Council was volunteering to pay for our chairs. I didn't even have the heart to send that estimate to John Wilson because it's $17,000. So I was trying to get some additional estimates before I even showed that to the city of Foley.
See, I read.
Can we take our own chairs?
We do to Alberta to watch football.
It is under one roof this year, though. That is
Yep.
good.
So they're doing that. Birmingham, they have to have the rubber things
On the,
Yeah, rubber tips.
and they have to be connected, and we have to have 4,000. There's a company that, Columbia Southern uses, I see the group says the estimate from. They have 2 places, one in Birmingham and one in Atlanta. They'll have to get chairs from both to have that many.
Blue Ridge don't have them.
Not 4,000.
you can stand,
Hope, anything else?
Frank, if you'd like. I'll take your chair.
I just really wanted to take this opportunity to brag on our principals that have been going through this new district, and obviously it's been a very difficult. Everybody has their teachers' best interest at heart. Daphne, one has been the most difficult because of the number of teachers that was involved. But Mr. Owen, Mr. Doherty, Mr. Ellis have made this process go very smoothly. The majority of the tenure transfers, I believe, went through tonight. So that takes care of that process. The same thing with Fairhope, Ms. Broughton and Ms. Harris have been amazing. They have made sure that those kindergarten, first and second grade teachers are in the right spot, and that those upper elementary, 4th, 5th, and 6th, the same thing. By the time we talk at next month's meeting, we should have Foley ironed out. I am positive that we'll have that taken care of. But the bottom line is, I know everyone was worried that there was just going to be handfuls of P-slips handed out to these teachers, and it looks like everybody that needs to be in a classroom in Baldwin County will be involved.
Board,
Hope.
you've entertained more redistricting in 5.5 years than's been done in the last 20 years in Baldwin County as a result of growth and overcrowding. So I applaud you for that, and our staff for that, and our schools for that. So I feel like it'd be unanimous that Hope would win the long-winded award tonight, staff. So okay, all right. So that
Forever the
passes.
trophy.
That's all I have, Ms. Dawson.
All right, thank you. I guess I only want to say also, I want to just say, John, thank you for everything that you do. We appreciate what you do. I was in a classroom. I totally understand where Tony's coming from. That's a hard-working group of people. I know they are, but the only thing I can say that I think is significant is that we were able some year 2, 3 ago to give our teachers, 2.5%. I don't think we would have been able to do if it had not been for,
To combine with the state rate.
Right.
Gave them a 5%.
5% pay raise. If it had not been for your expertise and what you were able to do for us, and we appreciate it, John. I don't see any news media for questions. Yes. 27th, whole board training,
I'm busy that day.
1 o'clock till 3 at the virtual school. No, sir, be there, be square. Okay. All right. Motion to adjourn?
You got it.
I have a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second? We have some
Sign
papers
for
to
Louise, I
lose.
believe.
She needs a
Right,
second
Louise?
to adjourn.
I need second to, all in favor, aye. All right. We are adjourned.
Probably has the wrong.